Welcome to Slow Unpacking, where we unpack magic, but take our sweet time with it. Today we unpack a set booster from Zendikar. Seachrome Ghost from Adam Paquette. The fact that this is a set booster means that we get some epic art only cards as well. In my opinion, you could use those as actual cards, but it seems like they are not rated as such. In this particular one we see Seachrome Ghost, which is the Azorius dual land that enters untapped when you have 3 lands. I believe this one was meant to fit an artifact theme. The epic thing is that a Zendikar is more of a monsters plane thing, but the feel of the piece is very artifact-like, and we see a crane, very Azorius, sitting on top of a Hedron, which is a very old artifact. Hedrons are mostly seen imprisoning big things, but here we see a sign of freedom sitting on top of it. Yay freedom. Forest from Tianhua X. Our land comes sooner than expected as well. A beautiful full art one at that. This is another example of how artists seem to bend nature in ways that seem natural, but are a sign of massive evolutionary resilience. This tree seems to be bent around in order to catch light, or perhaps in order to avoid growing into another massive thing. Imagine being a tree on Zendikar, not preferable. Subtle Strike by Bryan Valeza. Flavor: silence is an underrated hunting strategy. I think I know why this strategy is so underrated. Most victims never got to boast about it. The strike that is about to occur is very subtle, but very deadly as well. Although the card is not about the action, it is about the position. Subtle Strike gives the opponent a disadvantage and your creature an advantage. If Subtle Strike was about to strike, it would have just been a -1 counter. But no, this is about the moment before, the moment when you lie in wait. This spider is soon to use his advantage. Or maybe not, we don't know. Hagra Constrictor by Dominic. Hagra Constrictor is a common +1 enabler, very much suited for draft or for any of you that want to build a menace deck, of course. This card just shows a big snake that is glaring at us, showing us how menacing it is, but why are we afraid of big creatures all of a sudden? The only thing I can imagine is that we walk through this swamp, encounter a snake wrangling this thing, and now we are being very careful in this swamp. But that's about it. I honestly don't know what the 1/1 counters are doing here. Guul Draz Mucklord by Darek Zabrocki. Death comes in many forms on Guul Draz, most of them slow, subtle and agonizing. At least the monstrous crocodile offers a swift death. So most of things on Guul Draz are agonizing. Then why not just use -1 counters instead? The even more weird thing is that Guul Draz has a city named Malakir right next to Hagra, which is a city of vampires that feed on others to grow. This would be a logical +1 counter thing. But here the crocodile is so benevolent as to give you a +1 counters when it dies. The light shining into the artwork is symbolic for the hope of getting a quick death. Nice save, Darek. Scale the Heights by Cristi Balenescu. Flavor: ever onward, ever skyward. This is some counter stuff that I can get behind, or under. A climber explores new lands, gains wisdom, grows in experience, and enjoys the view. That is all mechanically correct. Rant over. The art is beautiful as well. We see someone exploring in a very difficult and dangerous manner, namely vertically. This is the hardest direction for exploration. Still, our explorer must enjoy the daylight coming in like this. Notice how we never see any of the tops of anything. We could climb all day and never reach the peaks of these floating sculptures. Mind Drain by Grzegorz Rutrowski. Flavor: the meal was exquisite, the conversation less so. Here we see a Malakir vampire draining someone of his mind, or rather, we see the vampire killing it. Perhaps if the guy would just have been a better conversation partner, he could have lived, but no, he was boring. So his blood and life would have to do. He loses knowledge in cards, we don't gain it. He loses life in life, we gain the power from it. Exactly as the flavor says. Thank you, writer. Bloodchief's First. by Jason Rainville. Flavor: we are free. It is our duty to live well. Our 5th black card in his pack is another example of the Malakir vampires, where the Bloodchiefs are the only vampires that can create new vampires. Although there's only one left after all the Eldrazi's and civil wars on Zendikar. Now she seeks enough power to create new Bloodchiefs. In the meantime, Drana will drink her full. The vampires of Zendikar only care about themselves and their rights to eat and enjoy their life to the fullest. Here we see an already powerful vampire without the need for food, so she just kills for power and maybe a little bit for fun. Silundi Vision and Silundi Isle by Randy Vargas. First, Feel the Current, Rough Waters Lie Ahead by Jory N, Expedition Leader. Second, From the Hedron Fields of Academe to the Fadoon of Jabbar Isle, the islands of the Silundi Sea offer one mystery after another by Jory N, Expedition Leader as well. Silundi is a double-faced card, where we first see a vision of a place and then we see the vision. This is very interesting as it is a new way of telling a story. There is double as much on the card. To start off with Jory N, who is a very famous expedition leader, known for very enormous discoveries. Where we have first seen experts in scaling heights, Jory is an expert in diving deep in every sense. She was tasked with warning Gideon for Ulamog that was coming for Sea Gate, as she was the fastest sea traveler there was. Though otherwise she was more occupied with finding secrets. Even while the Eldrazi were attacking, she still dove for new ruins. Zendikar is a massive world with only one named sea in the whole story, Silundi. Knowing your way around it means that you can access every part of the world. The vision helps Jory seek new secrets. The art is very important as well. Notice how the vision shows us a swirl in the shape of an eye, funneling us towards this island. Then notice how the island looks pretty much like it's and seems to be beneath sea levels. Only drive for the magical barrier around it, as if it wants to be found. Jory is connected to the sea and Silundi deems her worthy. Relic Golem by Svetlin Velinov. Remember Maelstrom Colossus from our first Commander pack 2 weeks ago? Well, Svetlin made that as well. It was a vision of us seeing probably the same golem in massive swirling energies. Now we see it dormant and firm. The Maelstrom has come to a rest. Until you unveil the secrets of your opponent's deck. Then it will awaken again. Zendikar is a turbulent plane that is temporarily asleep. This card, in contrast to our previous golem, depicts that beautifully. First I thought this might have been a coincidence, but look at the blue tinges of the Colossus and then look at the blue diamond in the heart of this resting golem. The Colossus that emerged from the Maelstrom has come to a halt and the energies formed into this jewel. Care to try to steal it? Magmatic Channeler by Bryan Sola. This is just a mage that likes to use magma as their source of inspiration. But look at the style. Does this not remind you of some certain planes visiting fire mages? Maybe it is just that fire mages like to dress the same, but Chandra has been here. Actually, she left a pretty big mark on it as well, as she has burned both Ulamog and Kozilek to a crisp with the help of Nissa and the ley lines. I do not think it is weird that other talented fire mages try to be like Chandra now. This one is rather beautifully made as well. Controlling the fire almost seems easy with the elegance that this mage is using. Bryan often makes things look easy, from jumping like an assassin, to playing a magical guitar while floating, to riding a giant hoverboard manta ray, which I think is pretty hard to do. Inscription of Insight by Zoltan Boros. Zoltan made another cycle of important artifacts. Here the Sultai colors each have an inscription that lays bare secrets. Previously, Zoltan also made the Charms of Ravnica, where you also had choices for the effect of your spell. Mechanically, all modes on this card are pretty good. I think that where it shines is the fact that you have 4 choices on one card. If you were looking for card draw, this is not the best choice, but if you for some reason do not, then you can use it differently. That being said, this will never be broken except for the Kicker standard deck and then only maybe and probably not. but the fact that you can choose with what this inscription might do is interesting story-wise as well. Now here we found an inscription and it made her crazy in a different way than it did with Nissa. These artifacts change your mind in a way that is true to your character. Very convenient when you are writing your story. Stonework backpiece by Dmitry Burmak. Flavor: it will happily carry home your treasure or drag you back to civilization, as circumstances demand. This is the first cleric, rogue and warrior that we have found in this pack, and only the second wizard. But backpiece does not mind. It can be all those roles if you need it to be. The art shows us what an adventure might feel like by just looking at the sky of it. The humans behind this beast make me feel like it is a bit of a chore to keep up with this one though. Even though it is carrying everyone's packs, weapons and tools, it is still the leader of the pack. We go from pack beast to cat beast with Bayard Wu. Imagine climbing a hedron and when you reach the top, meow! This cat is stalking towards us from the shadows. Its eyes glare at us and we are not completely able to see its face. It draws us in only to get a little closer look. Then it wants a little pet of course, because every cat is a cutie in my book. Thank you for watching. Next week will be another video, which I know because I already made it by now. Before you ask, yes I can time travel, it is a YouTuber power.